Hello and welcome back. In today's video, we will talk about technological environment. So in business studies with respect to this chapter, if you talk about technological environment, it means make an assessment of how vulnerable or independent is your business with respect to technology. What do I mean by this? You have a business. Is your business extremely vulnerable to the changes in technology, or is your business independent with respect to changes that is happening in technology? We will see some examples of how several fields have evolved with the changes in technology. When technology changed, these fields have also completely changed. Let us see some examples one by one. See photography. Until 90s and mid 2000s, people, when they had to take photography, they took photography in a film camera and the photos were developed in a dark room. So usually if you need a passport size photo, you have to go in advance and it will take a couple of days or even at least 24 hours for you to get back your passport size photo. These days, everything is digital. The cameras have become digital. So if you need a passport size photo, you just go there and they just develop it in a matter of 15 minutes and you get 8 copies, 10 copies, 16 copies of passport size photos immediately. So that is photography. And with respect to videography, what happened? Let's say in the 90s until the mid 2000s, people, if they wanted an aerial shot for a film, they literally had to carry a heavy camera in a helicopter. The helicopter will hover around that entire area and then the videographer will take the footage. So that's how older days the aerial shots used to be. These days what happens? These days we just do it through a drone. Even with high quality camera, with the help of a drone, we can take as many aerial shots we want as possible. So that's the advent of technology. This particular field has changed. Now what about driving? Previously the taxi business used to be that people manually drove cars. There is a taxi wala that who used to be there. Now we are at the cusp of moving into driverless self-driving cars. In the US, you can already see in Los Angeles and San Francisco, there are a lot of taxi businesses with self-driving cars. You just get in there, you just load where you have to go in the GPS and the car will take you and drop you wherever you have to go. It's there in China also. This selfless driving car business is there in China also. You can see a lot of YouTube videos. They can show about exactly how this driverless self-driving car taxi business works. Okay, so that's the change. In India, you won't see this driverless cars yet, but it's not quite far. Maybe in another 10 years, in India also we will have a lot of taxis or a lot of cars where you manually don't have to drive. The car will drive itself. So that's the driving aspect. And what about aviation aspect? Again, until 90s and mid 2000s, pilots had to literally control the entire duration of the flight. Modern day airplanes, almost automated. So the pilots will have to only take care of the takeoff procedures and during the landing procedures. And again, in mid-flight, in case there is some emergency, pilots will have to manually intervene. Otherwise, 90 to 95% of flight operations is done autopilot. So again, that's the impact of technology in aviation field. And finally, let's talk about our field of accounting. 80, 90 years ago, people were literally posting journal entries on paper with a pencil or pen. Then calculators came. So people did not need to have a lot of things in their memory. Their brains kind of freed up. So they outsourced computing work to the calculator. So addition, subtractions, all the basic mathematical operations were done by the calculator. Then computers came, 80s, late 80s, mid 90s. In India, it was like fully computerized since the early 2000s. Banks have become computerized, railways become computerized, everything became computerized. And also with the advent of internet, everything became a networked set of computers. Then everything became interconnected and entire accounting went into the computerized format. So you don't have to literally write anything on pen and paper. You just have nowadays softwares like Tally, SAP, Oracle. You just have to type the entries and the software itself will do the rest of the accounting for you. So that's how accounting has evolved. Now let me give you myself as an example. I am a teacher by profession. Again, until the 2000s or when I was a student, how the teaching industry was, let's say I was a tuition teacher back in mid 90s or in mid 2000s, I just had to know about what was the subject that I was teaching. Let's say I was a maths teacher, I just had to know maths completely and I should know how to teach properly. then I would be able to do a good job as a teacher. That skill set was sufficient until the 2010s. Then in mid 2010s, like 2015, almost let's say 2018-19, when YouTube became quite famous in India, when internet became quite cheap in India, teaching slowly started to get into the YouTube space. Particularly after the COVID episode, during the lockdown period, every school, every college went into online, every work went into online, education particularly went into online. Therefore, after this COVID period, you see how many YouTube channels are there. Any field that you take, it doesn't matter 11th and 12th, accounts or anything. Take physics, chemistry, medicine, CA, engineering. You can see programming. You can see so many YouTube channels having lot of valuable content on the YouTube space itself. When we studied plus 2, we used to take the primary learning from the teacher itself, and if at all we are very curious, we will go to some library, get some reference books, and we used to study that way. Nowadays you have a world of library into YouTube itself. So in case you have any doubt, you can get into YouTube, give a search query, and you will get your answer immediately. So your learning itself has changed. That means my teaching procedure should also change. I should adapt myself as a teacher also. So back then, my commerce teacher, my accounts teacher, it was good enough for her to know just how to teach accounting. Just be good enough with the teaching and be good enough with accounting. But today, I am an accounts teacher, I am a BST teacher. Apart from knowing what is BST, apart from knowing what is the core accounting principles and core accounting knowledge, I should also know how to operate a camera. I should also know how to set up a YouTube studio. I should also know how to talk to a camera and how to talk to a mic and how to edit a video and how to operate a YouTube channel. So if I am not technologically updated, I am going to be kind of left behind. Imagine if I don't know how to operate technology, I will be able to serve a maximum of 40-50 people in my locality. But when I master technology and when I learn to adapt to these changes in technology, my BST knowledge is not going to be confined with 40-50 people. My accounting knowledge is not going to be confined with to 40-50 people. I can serve almost endless people by embracing technology because my videos are uploaded on YouTube. So that's how teaching also has changed. Like this, every field has changed over the last 8 to 9 years. Particularly with the changes of technology. And nowadays you have artificial intelligence. This AI revolution is happening right now. We are in the middle of it. And we have no idea in another 5 years how many things are going to be done completely differently than how they are being done today. Okay, the final question one more time we have to ask is, how vulnerable or independent is your business with respect to changes in technology? Tomorrow when you open a business, this is the question you have to ask. How vulnerable or how independent is my business with respect to technology? We will see some examples of vulnerable businesses. Manufacturing sector is completely vulnerable because the more the technology evolves, the manufacturing sector is also going to change that way. You see, previously 80-90 years ago, manufacturing automobiles was completely done by human beings. But nowadays you see every factory is automated. In Japan, factories of Toyota, you see almost 80% is done by the machines, be it drilling the nuts and bolts and affixing the parts, components, everything. Very little human involvement. Again, food product companies, let's take some examples of milkshake manufacturing. Back in the day, people used to pour the milk into the packet and seal the packet and sell it. Now you see with the advent of a Tetra Pak machine, this Tetra Pak will almost pack 100 milkshake units in a matter of 1 minute. In 1 minute, it will throw out 100 units of milkshakes. Whatever be the milkshake that you see on the supermarket, Amul or any other milkshake, lassi that you see on supermarket, which was packed in Tetra Pak, is done by this machine. And this machine has completely changed how liquids are being packed. Okay, so that's the role of technology here. And then obviously cosmetic business, like how shampoos were being packed, how face creams were being packed. Back in the day, they were done manually. Now they are done with the help of machines in a much faster rate. Now let's see some examples of independent businesses. It doesn't matter how technology grows. These businesses kind of are immune to the changes in technology. The best example is real estate businesses. No matter what happens, people are still going to live in house people still need houses. Of course, we have this JCB missions, all those things are there, but still, it doesn't matter in which country, even in the advanced countries, construction is still done by human beings largely. It might get fully automated by robots someday, but that day is quite far. At least not in the next 20-30 years, is as far as I can imagine. But then again, restaurants, you can see, people need food at the end of the day. So chefs are still human beings. You don't see much of tech inside a restaurant. Okay, billing has become updated with technology. Maybe seat allocation in a restaurant, reservation has become online, and all those things that I agree. But still, the food preparation part, food serving part, we still need human element to it, isn't it? So that is restaurant. So these are some points that I wanted to share with you with respect to understanding technological environment. Let me know in the comment section below what are all the changes in tech that I have missed in this video. What more changes have happened to your knowledge that you can share. You can write that in the comment section so other students can also see. I will see you in the next video. Thank you and bye bye.